Your move.
What is going on, you guys? Bastion Wagio here, and you might be wondering why I'm wearing this hat and living in Texas, because I am Philly for life and we're winning this draft so far. I don't know if you guys are we got any football fans out there, but essentially we got Jordan Davis, first round, 13th overall pick, and we got AJ Brown for the Titans, and we're getting a center, and I believe we got one of the Georgia linebackers as well. So I am extremely happy for my Philadelphia Eagles next year. It's be our year. We're gonna win the NFC East. I'm pretty confident of that. We're just getting past Tom Brady and Matt Stafford is gonna be a struggle. But beside the point, getting back into the more Yu-Gi-Oh side of things, after my Philly pride has now been gotten that out the way, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit about Tri-Brigade, more specifically Branded TriBrigade, and why it's seen such a large, I guess say, surge in popularity as of recent. Of course, yes, we did see Houston regional winner Hector Orellana, I believe his name is, who won with this exact same build that I'm showing you. I believe is the exact same build. I could be off by a card or two, but essentially, why is Branded TriBrigade so good? Why was it good enough to win the regional over in Houston? And is this a fluke? We're gonna be answering these questions, but more importantly, I'm gonna give you guys 3 reasons as to why Branded TriBrigade is probably the best counter for the Despia Albaz branded strategy in this video. So reason number 1 why I believe Branded TriBrigade is going to be the best counter for the branded Despia strategy is because of their similarity in timing. Not timing as in missing timing, things like that, but just the overall pace that both decks seem to have. Both decks have more or less a average to more or less lackluster looking turn 1 boards. Not really nothing too menacing, but it very quickly snowballs into something that is just completely outrageous and is just very hard to deal with. Now, TriBrigade back in the day, and maybe a few months back, right before this most recent ban list back in February, was playing a lot of bird up version. Its best thing it could do, just set up a ridiculous board with a utopic Draco future, I should say. You could have Appaloosa, and you could have one of this guy, what's it called, the Ancient Warrior as well, followed up by TriBrigade Revolt. It was really focused on making a strong turn 1 board. Now, TriBrigade now moving forward, especially with the branded, isn't necessarily making the most menacing turn 1 board, but it's going back to very similar style of how pure TriBrigade would play back in the day. Just more of a grindy match, more of a mid-range deck, which is very similar to how Branded Despia plays now as well. Now, of course, one does fusion, one does links, but still both are very comparable in that way. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is that important, really? I mean, there's other mid-range decks out there. Yes, that's correct, but there's very few that can actually very comfortably rely on the grind game of the game to go ahead and carry forth and really carry the deck overall. I believe we're starting to see a bit of a switch when it comes to the overall meta of the game. We're starting to move a lot more further away from the break my board meta to let's go ahead and grind it out meta, which honestly seems a lot more fun overall. We're seeing Scythe started to be played a little bit less, so there's not as much of a need for a card like DD cards to be played at 3, which, as I've always mentioned, I'm a huge advocate of. I've seen the benefits of having cards like Ghost Bell in the main deck, things like that. Just in the current meta overall, stops Branded and Reds. It pretty much stops the grind game and the mid-range game that Branded Despia has, and really just relies on being able to pretty much sit on the Mirror Jade with no effect if they're able to go full combo, of course. Now, another main reason why I believe TriBrigade is extremely good as well in the current format is it doesn't take a lot for it to get going. I'm not saying it's a one-card engine by any means, but Branded TriBrigade, or I should say just the TriBrigade engine as itself, is extremely consistent, reliable, resourceful, and essentially what you're trying to do is trying to out-resource, out-grind your opponent in that way. And as a backup, you're then relying on the branded strategy to go ahead and just really give it a little bit of an extra boost to your overall end board. Typically, if you are able to go ahead and do say your Rescue Cat combo, which if you have not seen, I do have a tutorial of earlier in my channel. I believe I posted it last week when I posted the deck profile for Branded TriBrigade. So basically, Rescue Cat is absolutely phenomenal. It's pretty much going to be your only one card full combo in the entire deck, but it's still extremely consistent in that way as well. You can also search it to do your full combo turn 2 with a card like Shirag Omen. So it just has so many different ways to go ahead and get to its engine pieces, and even if it doesn't get to them right away, you're perfectly comfortably fine, because another big reason why essentially this deck is so good, because it has the space to play 12 to 15 hand traps in a 40 card deck. That's extremely consistent and extremely reliable as well. Essentially, a lot of the decks that we were seeing and that we are seeing currently still being played in the meta are mainly 44, 45 card builds, some 60 card builds. They are going to be playing 12, 15 cards, but it's different when you have 45, 50, even 60 card variants with 15 hand traps, and playing 40 cards. 40 card main deck with a 15 hand traps gives you a much higher consistency, much higher reliability on those hand traps. That you are going to be seeing those in your opening hand and in later times as well, and they're all going to be extremely reliable. Another one that's going to be extremely reliable for this deck specifically is Cyframe Gamma. Now, Cyframe Gear Gamma, I should say, is not a card that I've ever really been too much of a fan of. Why? Is because when you have a card on your field, or if you have a monster on your field, I should say, it's useless unless you have the Cyframe Lambda, in which case it takes up another extra deck slot, and I just don't like to rely on those things just for one negate, essentially. So Cyframe Gear Gamma, again, I've never been too big a fan of. However, in this specific deck, it works actually extremely well, because it's never going to be a dead card essentially in your hand, because it does play well with Branded Fusion. You send Branded Fusion, you activate Branded Fusion, or you send it off of the Verte, activating its effect. You need a light monster to go ahead and summon Albion. So what's your light monster target? The only light monster you're playing in your entire deck is Cyframe Gear Gamma and Cyframe Driver. So if you did not use Cyframe Gear Gamma yet in your turn, or in their turn, you send the Driver, because Cyframe Gear Gamma can also special summon the Driver from the graveyard as well, hand, deck, or graveyard. Now, later on, let's say you already use your Gamma effect, that's fine. You still got 2 more targets to use Branded Fusion on. I've actually very much considered testing this deck out with 2 Fallen of Albaz and a little bit more fusion heavy in the extra deck. It kind of becomes a little more cloggy and becomes too branded reliant, and I think that clashes a little bit with what the deck is essentially trying to do. And we're just trying to play basic, grindy, mid-range Tri-Brigade, and have that branded as an extra form of interruption. It's a free interruption, and also allows you to search your the new support for Tri-Brigade, which is Tri-Brigade Mercurier, which is another negation. So you're getting an extra banish and an extra negation on your turn and your opponent's turn as well, depending on when you use the Mirror Jade and the Tri-Brigade Mercurier, of course. But you are getting 2 more forms of interruption essentially for free, just by playing this version of the Tri-Brigade deck. And that's essentially why I believe Branded TriBrigade specifically is being that much more consistent and gonna see that much higher representation now moving forward. The last reason why I believe Branded TriBrigade is gonna be probably one of the better decks moving forward is because we've seen a lot of cards recently being untargetable. We've seen the return of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon being very easily accessible through any deck that plays Branded, with the addition of the Hex Sealed Fusion, I believe it's called. Yes, the Light Hex Sealed Fusion. So this allows you to go into Red Eyes Dark Dragoon for free. You don't need to send any materials. You don't need to play Dark Magician. You don't need to play Red Eyes Black Dragon. This helps you make it for free. So you have another untargetable negate that you're gonna have to deal with. And Shirag Omen helps you deal with that, and it's been an extremely reliable card consistently. Not just in general in the meta, but me playing this specific deck, I find it extremely hard that having to play only 2 Omen, because I very heavily rely on this card to go ahead and just immediately banish or just get rid of any card my opponent has that is untargetable, can't be destroyed by battle card effect, whatever it might be. This just banishes it for free essentially. Just all you have to do is summon it, and it's absolutely just amazing. Or summon it or another Beast or Wing Beast monster. So I think that having the fact that it can play 12 to 15 hand traps, the fact that it has Omen for non-targeting removal and banishing, the fact that it is extremely consistent and has the exact same pace as one of the best decks in the format, just gives it that much more of an advantage. And the fact that it is extremely budget compared to the Branded Despia strategy. If you're going to play Branded Despia, that's easily going to be paying $700-800 for the deck at best. and that is lowballing it. If you're just looking to pick up the most the best cards for it, essentially, there's really not being any reprints because the deck essentially just came out, except for Aliber. But Aliber, even this reprint price, I believe is $30–40 at the very best. So if you're looking to go ahead and play competitively, and if you're on a budget and you're looking to just play the best deck possible, all those things combined, which I know it's quite a bit of us, this is definitely going to be the route for you. And there's definitely a lot of ways you can make this even more budget as well, and still extremely good. You can easily take out Triple Tactics Talents and put in Triple DD Crow and another Ghost Spell, or you can put in 3 Ghost Ogre, which just got reprinted as well in the structure deck for the Alabast Strike. And I know Ashes are $30–40 right now, which is actually just ridiculous. You actually go ahead and put Effective Veilers in here as well. It's not going to be the same effect, but it is still going to have an impact in the game as well. So if you're looking for budget ideas, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below, guys. If you guys did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like. Again, comment down below. How are you guys playing Branded TriBrigade? Again, honestly, I do not know how exactly I can mess with this build to make it that much better. Honestly, I think he explains it very well. He has, ever since he won the Houston Regional, he has done a lot of videos on YouTube. Hector Orregaya, I believe that's his name. If it's not, forgive me. But he's done a ton of videos on YouTube just explaining the overall strategy of the deck. So I'll go ahead and leave links down to his videos down below, so you can go ahead and check him out as well. But again, if you guys did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe for more, and I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one.